Hey everybody, welcome to part 3 of this series where we're going to focus on getting this set up for rendering and rendering it out. I've only done a couple things since the last video. I threw down a camera here, just kind of set up very basically. Change this to HD for now, just normal settings throughout here. And you may notice something that's different than yours is I've got mine set to not automatically put the Redshift tags on. So just need to do that real quickly. I'll do that for all of these. Just add those in so you get your Redshift tags if you don't see those. And then inside part 1, as I was watching through this, the way that this one is set up versus the original one that I did is that the loop needed to just end here for the hatch, and it was cycling continuously. So what I've done is basically what we did in the previous videos of throwing down a switch, and then I've used a time shift here just to pause it. So at frame 70, just like here, it goes and pauses. So that way we can, one, shorten our render time for whenever these pop off. So around frame 100 or so, maybe give yourself a little bit more room. And then you can just loop it in After Effects or Fusion or wherever, Nuke. So yeah, that's basically all I've done so far. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in and add just a cyc wall. So we're going to do a grid like so. We can call this cyc and hop in here and put down a bend deformer. I'm just going to hop out of my camera real fast. I'll do something like 32 by 32 in here so it's a nice easy bend like so. And let's see, where's our camera is facing on Z, right? Yeah, so we want this to be -1 like that. And then we can bend it up a little bit more, can adjust the length so we can get a little bit of a smoother corner there. And I think that's good. Now, one thing that I did in the original was have this beam of light come out from the center. So if I ghost this and we see this sitting right there, I have a light underneath that shines up and comes through. So we need some way to get that through this object. So I'm going to throw down a transform and move this back like so. So we're getting like a little bit of a flat area there. And then I'm going to go in and do an object merge and get our, what did I call this? Tunnel? I don't even remember what I called this thing. Hatch. So we'll call this our hatch. And let's see. Animation, accept, hatch, like so. So that's now in here. And then we can use a Boolean. Go like this and like this. And I might have to throw down a transform to make sure that subtracts. So throw this in here like that. Down just a little bit. And we're getting the edges because I don't have a polyfill in there. So on the bottom. So what's the easiest way to do this? I think what I'm going to do is go back into our initial setup and just bring the tube in. So I'll throw down a null, and that should be this right there. Actually, I will do it before the extrusion because we just want the inside there. And then throw down, actually, here we go, polyfill right there. That's what I'm looking for. No blast needed or delete needed. Cool. So this will be out hatch bool, just so we know what's going on there. Come back over to our cyc and swap it out for the hatch bool like so. I think I still need to bring this down a little bit. I need to mark this as in. Oh, there's no group. There we go. Okay, and this should, this needs to be a surface. There we go. Okay, so one cool thing versus C4D that you can do in Houdini is say treat as a surface versus treat as a solid object. Just comes in handy with certain operations, but also just something else to remember as well. So that looks pretty good there. I think UV project, I should have done this before. Put this down before the bend. Hit initialize so we can get that in there. Cool. All right, so we're all set up with the cyc. We've got our camera and we've got that animation happening. I'm gonna go ahead and look through the camera. And let's see. Now we're missing something. Or is it just taking a little bit to load? I probably flagged this on our animation, which I did. Cool. All right. That like that, and there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and bring up our Redshift render view. I keep mine docked down here, just like I do with the geometry spreadsheet, so on and so forth. I think I went over this in the previous video, but if you come up to this little guy up here, you can do split pane from top to bottom or left to right or wherever. You can do that anywhere in this the UI and swap things out for whatever you want, whatever works best for you. But I like to hit plus and just add the render view right there. Take a second to load up. And then we're going to hit this Redshift button like so. And basically good to go at this point. I'm just going to go and check, see what my settings are at the moment. Okay, cool. I'm going to actually just use this Billy Chicken Gurge setup that I've had saved for a while. For preview purposes, I don't need to have the threshold that high. Cool. Okay, so now when I hit render, probably just get like a basic little thing going because it'll have the default light on, but nothing else. And yeah, cool. So that's interesting. I think when it is down in there, there's like a split happening. Might have to take the bevel off those edges to get a nice flush look, but I'm gonna go back up to our object level and throw down RS light. And for this, use a spotlight like so, and we will rotate it up about 90 degrees. Oh, 90 degrees, there we go. And we can just move it down below like so. And if I have this hatch open, we should start to see the light come through. That's great. We can come in and control our fall off and cone area and our power and contribution. Yeah, it's contributing to volumetrics. Usually I have that turned on. Just want to come back over to our ROP, and I don't have volumes on, so that's why we're not really seeing anything. I'm gonna go up to 0.5. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And then if we turn that back down, all right, I guess that split is not doing anything. So anyway, there's our volumetrics that we've got in the other one, and then we can just change the color a bit. I think I had mine to blue. So we'll go over here like so, a little bit of blue in there, and then this will come, close like so, and boom. Cool. All right, let's add in another RS light. I was gonna do a dome light, but I'll just do a quick basic setup. So for this, I'm gonna use OD tools and find my GSG area lights. I'll do this one and all of them. I'll just take a second to load up. Cool. I usually like the abstract circle. So I'm gonna come over here and use texture. Throw this in there like so. And I'm gonna look through the light. That's just how I prefer to light things. I'm gonna do spot volume. lock this and come up here like so. I'm already kind of liking that, and I already feel like this white look is kind of cool compared to the other one. What does it say? Point blah 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 is constant along the frame, motion blur. Okay, whatever. We'll worry about that later. So it looks like we've got volumetrics coming off this light by a lot. So we're going to come in here and turn our contribution down like so. And maybe we can bring this up quite a bit to get some softer shadows in there. Move it away like so. Cool. How does this look at the beginning with the volumetrics? That comes up like so. You can kind of still see them. I guess that's why I did a darker scene before. How about we have the intensity, maybe even a quarter of the intensity like so. And then in the volume, let's try like 5 in there. All right, I am digging that. I'm just gonna hit bucket render really fast, see how it looks kind of clean. All right, sure, I'm gonna dig that. That seems okay for now. Let's go and throw a material on the cyc over here. So I'm gonna double down on these. I've got a quad setup over here. Same deal as over here. You just come over here and you can do split pane left and right, top and bottom, and get this set up however you'd like. And for our materials, again, OD Force, and I think I said OD Force, OD Tools, and then let's do paper. Let's get something out of here. How about crafty? Sure. So the nice thing about OD Tools is we can hit this little button there. That'll put them all together, and you can do build material from set. Choose whatever render engine you're using. Hit Redshift. We've got UVs. Then we're good to go. And if I come up here to our cyc, which I didn't put the parameters on there, not that it really matters, but parameters, doesn't want to add them for some reason. Let's try one more time. There we go, Redshift. I don't know why you're doing that. Let's throw our material there. That should be all right. Sometimes Redshift can be a little finicky about where we put that. Oh, that's like really crafty. How about off-white? Try this one. And then we'll do import material from build, Redshift, UV, like we did before, and off-white velour. Is that like the same thing, but just a different color? Sure looks like it. Crafty, white. Oh, cheating, GSG, cheating. All right, well, I'm going to jump in here and scale these down just so we don't see the textures so much. There's other cool ways to do this, but that looks good enough. All right, digging that. So let's go up ahead where that's already closed, and let's build something for our sphere stuff. So we're going to need to put this in 2 locations, our initial animation area and then also the transition to Vellum. So over here we can throw down a material. I can also do it on the other side as well, right here. That way we'll put our materials over in the hatch that's over there. And I'll just throw this into our spheres like so. And we'll come into Vellum, come down here to material. Just put that right there. This will be our spheres too. And let's have some fun with this. How about, let's do some subsurface scattering, see how that looks. So I like cranking all these down. They're everything, don't need coat. like that. Come into subsurface, turn the weight up like that. Bring the scale down a little bit. And so we've got blue light in the beginning. Maybe do a blue spheres coming out. So I'm gonna come up here, throw in another light, and we'll rotate around this way. That. And I think I'm gonna make it a little bit tighter, just so we get a different kind of harder shadow. And probably bring this up to 100 as well. Cool. All right, that's looking decent. Maybe we'll go down a little bit with this here. You can also control this with the radius with colors as well, so you can decide which colors get let through versus not going so deep. That's looking pretty solid. I'm gonna maybe pull that back a little bit like that. Cool, good enough. We can throw our reflection on there. And we can do a base like so. For our base, I do like deeper purple, and then we'll turn down the weight. This there. A little bit more of that purple coming in. Render that real fast. Cool. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna hit a couple frames ahead, make sure our Vellum is doing the same, which it is. Cool. All right, let's hatch it up. So we'll come back up here and just find a material really fast. So many GSG things now. Let's do tech product maps. Let's see what's in here. And the only thing I don't like about using this is it gets a little bit condensed in here to be able to read things. And even if I stretch that out, it gets difficult. So what I'm going to do is hit all on this and just put it in alphabetical order like so. And then build these stacks so I can kind of read what's happening. Anodized midnight green, silver, space gray. That sounds kind of cool. Why don't we do this? Build material from set, Redshift, like so. And we'll come back into our animation where we have our material. Throw that there. Reload. All right, that's all right. It's a little dark compared to the blues that we got going on. Maybe we change it out for something else. Actually, you know what? Let's leave it like that, but come in and just do our own kind of whatever color. How about, I don't really have a good color palette in mind for this. Something like that. Okay, that's feeling all right. I think I might actually throw down a dome light as well, just to fill in some areas. Come in here, turn off the contribution for volumes with this. And let's see. Do creative spaces, all. Let's try lounge. Whoop, lounge. So that's linked up already. Oh, I'm liking that. Just kind of fills it in, gives it a little bit of color too. Maybe a little too much color. Bring the saturation down just a bit. There. rotate this around like so. Cool. All right, that's looking pretty decent. All right, the next thing I want to do is check to make sure we've got all of our motion blur stuff happening. It doesn't really look like it's coming out there. If I go back, I don't think it's coming out here either. Come on. I don't know, it looks like there's some motion blur happening there along the edges. I can see it there, so I think the only place that we need to double check is the Vellum. Yeah, there's definitely some motion blur happening in those areas, so why doesn't Vellum have it? Should be right around here that they start to pop open. Go a little bit further. Okay, so that seems to be missing here. Do we have it? It is there. All right, so I'm going to go into Redshift and just make sure mesh deformation blur from velocity attribute, hit reload on this and see if that's picking it up. Yeah, I can already tell that that did it. Sometimes I feel like I don't have to turn this on for Sims, and other times it seems like I do and just can't quite nail when it is. All right, so that's looking good. That is all set, and I think the last thing I want to do is just add some noise to the volumetrics here in the beginning, which is frame 24 or so. I want this to get out of there. Yeah, because we can have sharp lines, but a little bit of noise goes a long way. So I'm going to slide this back over. RS Builder again. The way we can break that up is just using a noise and the volume output. So volume, and get rid of this, RS noise, and we'll do max on noise, put it in the environment there. I'm just going to come up to out here, our volume scattering, and then our tint shader like that. You can already see that it's breaking this up a little bit. Just that. Like, I don't even know that I'm going to touch it. That seems pretty good in there. I think the only thing I might do is just put time on this. Animation, let's do 1, and it's by seconds for looping. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5, just because. So that way, as we move around, by the time it gets back to the beginning, it should be looped back. All right, so last thing is making sure our settings are nice and sharp for output. I don't know why I just reopened this down here when I had it up there, but that's looking pretty good. I don't have any refraction on, so I can turn that off. Do have scattering. Don't have multiple scattering though. Volumes, I think it will clean up fine how it is. All right, everything else I think is okay. I'm just going to turn the filtering down to 01 and hit bucket render and see how clean this is. Fast forward through this part here. All right, I think that's more than clean enough. Just a little bit slower than I wanted, but it's definitely clean. So I'm going to drop this down and try like half of this just to see Let's see how much noisier it gets right away. Won't hold here long. All right, that's looking pretty good. So to save this out, if you've never used Redshift in Houdini before, you want to come up to your ROP and set render frame range, and this will do the entire frame range, whatever you've got set down here. I think going to 120 or so would be fine for this, which I actually want to set in this one. And that's it. You're good to go. You can hit render to disk and you'd be fine. It would save it in EXR. If you want to change where it is, you can click on this and it will save the output wherever you want. Type of EXR, etc., etc. If you want to do DWA instead, whatever you like. But I didn't do anything fancy, no passes, nothing like that, just straight out of the render. All right, everybody, I appreciate you following along the series, and sorry it's a little bit of a longer one, but I felt like it would be good for the beginners out there just to kind of go a little bit more in depth than I normally do. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, comment below, ring the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in a couple weeks with another one. Thanks.